Peace, y'all. Good evening. I'm gonna cut right to the chase. I wanted to talk about this because, first of all, it's an impulse because, one of my fixations, obsessions, special interests is mental health, particularly mental disorders, psychopathology. And it's very near and dear to my heart because I'm a person who's dealt with mental illness in various ways. Family members with mental illness. I've worked in mental health for about a decade. Group homes, psychiatric hospitals, etc. Um, and yeah, I deal with mental disorders myself. I had a very significant and debilitating bout with major depression. Um, I was diagnosed with bipolar type 2. I did a whole video about that. Um, what else? What else? Just recently found out that I've had ADHD. Found that out at the tender age of 32, which explains a lot of my childhood. And little dysfunction and trouble I had in my childhood that really explained a lot of things. And what a lot of people don't know is there's a significant rate of comorbidity or co-occurrence with ADHD and bipolar disorder. A large percentage, I forget the exact figure, but a large percentage of individuals diagnosed with bipolar also have a comorbid diagnosis of ADHD. Like they're kind of like sister um, diagnoses. So no surprise there, really. Um, but my overarching diagnosis is that I want to say explains most of the issues I've had. Is PTSD, specifically complex PTSD or complex trauma. And again, I did a deep dive about that as well on a previous video. So, go check my whole channel out for real. But I wanted to talk about another topic that I've alluded to a few times. And that is the topic of personality disorders, specifically borderline personality disorder. Now, again, this is a very heavily stigmatized disorder for a multitude of reasons. First of all, and this again, my experience in the mental health field, when you say someone's borderline, it's usually a shorthand to say that this person is difficult, this person's undesirable, we don't like dealing with this person. A lot of people just have that label tacked on to them because people like it tends to mean I don't like this patient or I don't like this client, and it's fucked up. Um, and there's a long history of women being overdiagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and that's a whole another topic for another day. The way women were treated in the field of mental health, the whole hysteria thing and whatever. But borderline personality disorder was um, pretty much characterized for a long time as a woman female disorder, which is bullshit. Um, after more years of research and studies, they pretty much come to the consensus that borderline personality disorder is just as prevalent with males as it is with females. Um, so yeah, bullshit. It's not no female disorder. Um, but what's interesting is that a lot of women who, and this is most apparent in prison populations, the correctional system, like forensic settings. Um, Women will be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder when they actually have antisocial personality disorder, and men who have been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, and again we colloquially know this condition is, psychopathy or sociopathy. Those are very popular terms, but they're not. Well, sociopathy is not a clinical term. Psychopathy, I would consider that clinical, because we have clinical measures like the Hare psychopathy checklist to measure them, but that's a different subject anyway. But men who have borderline personality disorder are very likely to be diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder due to the way that it presents differently in men than it does in women. Women are more likely to, internalize and act in rather than men acting out, and that's due to, societal norms, and men dealing with their issues and traumas and other things through, the only way that we're taught that it's appropriate to, and that's anger, rage, aggression, violence. Um, so yeah, you get called a sociopath, psychopath for exhibiting certain traits. But I digress. And I don't really digress. Like, that background was important, but what I really wanted to talk about is when I first started getting therapy. Because I've been like, now I've been in therapy consistently, but like I had this habit in the past. I'd see a therapist, ghost them. My symptoms would get really bad, and I would be on the verge of crashing out, have a mental breakdown. Then I go back to therapy, kind of dip out. But yeah, when I first started to get therapy, and it wasn't even my idea. It was my girlfriend at the time, my ex. She was like, I think you should see someone. Like, I was going to UMass Boston at the time, and I found out that they had, like, in their little health center, you could get free therapy for a while, and then they'd refer you to someone else. So started getting therapy. Excuse me. Got referred to another company. I think it was Austin Brighton Mental Health. Um, and I was seeing her for a while. Nice lady. Her name was Deanna. Um, Going to her for therapy. And I remember, I was aware of borderline personality disorder, but, again, I know it's heavily stigmatized, but, I've always noticed these traits I had. I was always emotionally unstable, like, especially when I was younger. Zero control over my emotions, especially when it came to, feeling rejected. That was basically it, feeling rejected. Like, that would make me crash out, like, worse than anything. Um, and yeah, like, no, I didn't know what splitting was at the time, but what I knew about myself is I would idealize a person and, like, hold them on in such high regard and put them on a pedestal, and they would do something to disappoint me or bother me or hurt me. And it might even be minor, but it was like, now this person who I idealize, I would now only think negative about them. Like, I would just feel a lot of, like, anger and frustration, just think of all the negative experiences I had with them. And it's like, this person who I idealize had now completely switched to, someone who I feel like is mistreating me and doesn't value me and is basically out to get me. No, yeah. And, we call that splitting, or, the a switch between idealization to devaluation. Um, so I articulated this to my therapist at the time, and she seen her energy was funny, because now I look back on it, I know why, because I know the stigma of it. But, like, I didn't say, like, hey, I think I have borderline personality disorder. I just talked about this one facet of idealization, devaluation, and she kind of nervously, she was like, yeah, I mean, you might have some borderline traits. But it's like she didn't even, it was weird the way she said it. It's like she kind of like threw it out there like hesitantly and cautiously, and her energy was weird. But then like, but looking back on it, I think she saw that as a big like red flag and didn't want to really put that label on me, which actually to some extent appreciate, because I know how people who have that diagnosis could get treated. So I can't really blame her, especially 10 years ago. Like things were even so much different even back then. Um, but yeah, so I figured, like, um, for educational purposes and, some, self insight, I would, go through the diagnostic criteria of borderline personality disorder and, see how well this applies to me. And I'm not encouraging self diagnosis, but this is something that was presented to me a long time ago. And yeah, I just want to discuss that shit. So, um, if you still here after my long ass preamble, let's get into the shit, you heard? So, diagnostic criteria. Now, a pervasive pattern of instability of interpersonal relationships, self image, and affects, and marked impulsivity beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. So there's 9 criteria here. You must meet 5, and it must be a pervasive pattern. Like this is like fixed, like into your personality. So fear of abandonment, yes, absolutely. Um, Especially when it comes to friends and romantic partners. Like I'm pretty much like I don't think like the people who have been in my life my entire life, I don't ever really think that they're gonna abandon me. Like my mom, my sisters, like I don't fit. But like when I get interested into a person, and that person becomes my person. Yeah, like here's an example. My best man, um, my boy, who I consider my brother, who I thought we were gonna be friends forever. Who I felt like I would have went to hell for. We fell out. I can't really explain why because I don't fully know. He just stopped fucking with me, and it literally broke my heart. And like I really like tried to make things right and failed because you how do you make things right with a person who doesn't want to talk to you and won't explain to you what's wrong? But it's been about 2 years now, and I still think about it daily, and it bothers me like it just happened. And just feeling as though a person turned their back on me, or um, especially without any reason, like that shit drives me crazy. Um, and that's not the first time. That's the most recent example. But then there's other people who they were my person, and I was almost obsessed with them, and I would be waiting all day for the person to text me. If they didn't text me, I just felt like dying almost, and it was like my whole life was centered around attention from this person. If I didn't get it, it drove me crazy. You feel me? So, because like the fear is this person's not going to be a part of your life anymore, and it's like you need them. It's like it's almost like your attachment to this person is your personality almost, like it's your identity. So yeah, fear of abandonment. Moving along, unstable or changing relationships. Fuck yeah, bro. My longest relationship was under 3 years, 2 years, 11 months. That was my first relationship. And yeah, it was unstable. Not from the start, like you got that honeymoon period, but after that, listen, they say a person could only hide who they are for 3 months, and I believe in that because, yeah, I want a few months in, like I started to see, but you know, you love a person and you're trying to make shit work. I mean, I'm saying love, but I'm using that in a very, like, I don't think I ever really been in love. I've been obsessed with people. I've been attached to people. I don't know if I've really been in love. And yeah, I had two relationships beside that, even more unstable. One relationship, that was 6 months. Um, terrible, 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 terrible. Here's what usually characterizes my relationships: me being so invested that I'm just emotionally unstable and can't chill. So, and it alternates from that to me being detached and being like, all right, this person's not, they're not, they don't feel the same way as me, or I don't want to be vulnerable anymore. I'm just gonna detach, and there's that push and pull. You feel me? So, and I choose people that aren't for me. I'll be with someone just because they like me, not even because I like them. And you know, that's fucked up. That's not fair to the other person. It's not fair to myself. But you know, it's a problem. Like, I'll be like, this person likes me, so I guess I'll be with them. Um, Moving along. Criteria 3: unstable self-image, struggles with identity, sense of self. I don't know who I am. Honest to God, I don't know who I am. What I think, how I feel, um, what I'm interested in. Like, there's a few things that I've stayed interested in for, you know, a long time. Like, I'm always interested in philosophy. I'm always interested in psychology. But other than that, like, I'll pick up a hobby, do it for a while, completely stop, pick up something new. Um, like um, I'll really be into spirituality for a while. For some reason, I just like disregard it. Then there's a time in my life I was really into like social justice, and I was kind of an activist, and I was always going to protests and doing all that stuff. And I just, I was, after a while I was like, that's not me anymore. I move on to something else. And you know, after a while you get burnt out and you just be like, bro, who even am I? And I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, bro, I don't understand I don't know who this person is or what this person is. Like, looking at myself in the mirror, not even, you know, fucking dissociating. So now, criteria 4: impulsive or self damaging behaviors, e.g., excessive spending, unsafe sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, binge eating, everything. Everything that, like, everything. Now, I will say I'm not particularly promiscuous. I've had like 5 partners in my life. I'm 32, so, but this the situations, as far as some of those hookups were risky. I'll just say that, like, and they were bad situations and terrible money. I'll just like, I'll have some money and I'll fuck it all off on bullshit because I'm impulsive. Substance abuse, I used to overindulge in alcohol and, you know, the cannabis a lot, especially when I was like really depressed. Like, um, I just wanted to not feel nothing. Reckless driving, yeah. Binge eating. I used to, bro. I gained a lot of weight, like, at certain parts of my life, and I really like. Yeah. But yeah, I get into all that dumb shit. Suicidal behavior, self injury. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna just say yes. I'm not gonna get too much into this, and like, so between um 2018, 2019, I thought about ending things like on a daily basis for most of the day for like a cool year. And as far as self injury, I started that kind of behavior in my teens, and it continued well into my 20s. I haven't done it in um, years at this point, by the glory of God. But I used to get into that. Varied or random mood swings. Yep. My mood is constantly shifting throughout the day. It's like, any inconvenience, I'm mad. Um, something random happens. I have like a thought about the past, like it ruins my mood. Like somebody talks to me a certain way, it ruins my mood. Like, but then like a few hours go by, maybe not even a full hour, and then I feel complete. I'm like, yeah, I'm good now. Like, very labile mood. Very. Constant feelings of worthlessness and sadness. I'm never happy. I'm never happy. I have fleeting moments of happiness. Like the last time I really felt happy is when I found out that my mother has multiple myeloma. I've been dealing with that for the most of this current year. But I found out like her myeloma cells were um, had gone down tremendously. So um, I felt genuinely happy. I was moved nearly to tears when I found out that news because my mother matters to me more than anything in this world. That was the last time I felt happy. The last time before that was in May, before my sister graduated college, and my mother, who has been sick, was able to go there. Like I really, but I don't feel happy often. I'll be complete. It sounds sad, but um, you know, uh, I'm able to get through life. I appreciate life. I really do. But I don't feel happy. I don't feel happy. I don't like. I don't enjoy my time here much, but I'm still trying to make the most of it. But I don't. I'm always sad. I'm a sad person. People think I look sad. Like they look at me all the time. They're like, "What's wrong?" I'll be like, "Yeah, what's not wrong?" Problems with anger. Anyone who knows me, like that's not even. I'm angry constantly. That's another thing. I'm always angry. Like even when I'm cool, I'm angry. Like I'll think about something that made me mad uh, probably 20 years ago. I get mad all over again. Um, I got road rage. Kind of any inconvenience, like I get mad. Like, um, and if things are they easily escalate, and it, I could start yelling and screaming and cussing, and I haven't gotten into a fight in a long time, so there's that. But that's not out of the question. I could get really aggressive. Stress related paranoia and loss of contact with reality. Remember earlier I said I'll look in the mirror and not really. I'll be like, who is this? That when I'm really going through it, it seems like I'm not real or the world around me ain't real. You feel me? So, um, yeah, I want to say out of these criteria, fear of abandonment for sure, constant. I like at this point I don't even let people get close to me. Unstable, changing relationships, 100%. Almost every relationship, like either platonic, like friendships or romantic, like they've all been unstable. Even with the people who I like really like love and have like I even those. So yeah, so there's that unstable self-image, of course, impulsive, damaging behaviors. You know, I've kind of gotten a handle on those a little bit. Suicidal behavior, self-injury, not so much anymore, thank God. Varied random mood swings, 100%. Constant feelings of worthlessness or sadness, 100%. Problems with anger, 200%. And stress-related paranoia, loss of contact with reality, that happens in my worst days. So yeah, again, don't have a full diagnosis of BPD. Was told I have traits of it, which means we're not sure if you fit the full criteria for this, but you show obvious signs of it. That's what having traits means. So I look at this and, again, I say this is me. But again, also diagnosed complex PTSD. Those things heavily um, correlate, overlap, get mistaken for one another. Some people don't even think they're different. So, but yeah, man. Oh shit, we're almost at 25 minutes. I didn't mean to keep y'all this long, but shit, I ain't got nothing to do, and y'all ain't got nothing to do if you watching this. So it's fine. Feel me? But if you stuck around, I appreciate you. And I'm doing this video because, you know, there's a very small handful of black men that would come and talk about things like this. So listen, man, when a black man wants to come and talk about mental health, like, we don't listen. I used to see one therapist. She said I was a unicorn, you know, a black man in therapy. Like, and I've tried to encourage a lot of my you know, friends in the past, like, can you go to therapy, please? And they don't even have a good reason. They just don't want to do it. So, but yeah, if you stuck around, thank you. Please comment. Please like this shit. Love it. You when you hit the like, when you hit that like button, just pretend it's a love button. Love this shit. Subscribe, because I'm a real nigga and I make videos about real shit, you heard? And, you know, share my shit. And yeah, man, I hope y'all have a great night. Peace out, you heard?